Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your buddy Kyle Duck from YokeBreak.com, and in this training, we're going to be talking about the biggest business mistakes I've made in SEO and what I did to fix them. So first of all, I'd like to give you a reality check about, what business life is like. This is including SEO business, internet business, whatever business you might be in. You're going to make mistakes. Uh, you're going to have failures. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass and tell you you're going to wake up a millionaire tomorrow. But the outcomes you get in life are in your control. As a matter of fact, I'm about to tell you something that chances are no other SEO guru or internet marketer or whatever has ever said to you. It's time for the brutal truth, fellas. The fact is that you will fail. That's right. You're going to fail at SEO. You're going to fail at internet marketing. You're going to fail at earning an income online or whatever your goals may be. But that doesn't mean that you can't fail your way upward in life. Let me explain. You see, there's a kind of a process to mastery. Mastery meaning achieving the goals that you set out for. Realizing your dreams, whatever you want to, whatever you're after. And that process starts with, first of all, by taking massive, deliberate action. All right? Going out there and just trying to do whatever it is you're doing with whatever it is you have to do it with. Then you take that action and you fail. Maybe you don't fail completely. Maybe you fail part of the way. Maybe you do fail completely. I've failed completely multiple times to get where I am today. Then, from that failure, from that massive action, you learn from your mistakes. All of a sudden, you have this list of things that do work and don't work. Then you take that knowledge, you take that understanding that you've earned with blood, sweat, and tears equity, and you use that to take more massive action as fast as possible, as immediate as possible. And then you fail again. And the cycle keeps repeating. And with each failure, with each round of massive action and failure and acquisition of knowledge and understanding, you get better and better, and you start earning more and more. Your experience and your skill set builds upon itself, and all of a sudden you're dreaming bigger dreams and achieving bigger things. This is Mark Cuban. I guess he's one of my business role models, you might say. If you're not aware of him, he's a like tech billionaire, tech gazillionaire actually, founded broadcast.com. He's the owner of the Dallas Mavericks professional basketball team. He's the star of that TV show, that entrepreneur TV show. It's Shark Tank or Dragon's Den. I can't remember which they call it in the U.S. Anyway, one of his kind of mottos that I've always really admired is that in business, he says, in business you only have to be right once. So what he kind of means by that, or the way I interpret it, is you can keep failing and you can keep doing the wrong thing and keep learning. And if you just keep plugging at it, you will hit the mark. You will achieve what you set out for. That being right that one time can set you up for the rest of your life. All right, that said, enough ranting for now. Let's get on to the good stuff. Here's what all you're going to be learning today. 1, what my actual failures were. 2, why I failed at those, what the causes of it was. And 3, what I did to, fix those mistakes so I didn't make them again. So my kind of goal from this is that you guys, that y'all can watch this, see everything I've done wrong, and learn from it without having to make the same mistakes yourself that, cost you time and money and energy and everything else. I mean, just one of these mistakes I know for a fact cost me probably $50,000 this year. So please learn from me. Don't do the same thing to yourself in your business. I beg you. And so kind of along with that, I just want to warn you, learn from my mistakes, do better than I did, or I'm going to flog you with a wet noodle. And actually, it's really hard to find a Google Images picture of a person being flogged with a wet noodle, but this little baby, he was just too cute for me not to throw in the PowerPoint. All right, anyway. The first mistake, this was a big one that I've, struggled with over my business life, is spending too much time on non-making activities. I think this plagues the SEO industry or the internet marketing industry, whatever you want to call it. Let's break it down. You see, in business, some of your activities make money. Other of your activities are more like necessary evils. Money-making activities might be, writing sales letters or, even cold calling. Necessary evils, maybe accounting stuff or bureaucratic measures or other activities that support the making of money, right? See, your time and energy, those are limited quantities, way more limited than money, which is, an infinite resource. So since you only have so much time on this planet and so much energy every day to, invest in yourself, to work on your business, I cannot stress enough how important it is to spend all that time and energy and brain activity on the activities that will actually make you money. Now, some of my biggest time wasters I've had over the years, and in SEO, there are a lot of options for wasting your time, and I've been super guilty of these, is programming apps and tools myself. I have programming skills, I enjoy it, but you end up like down this rabbit hole, and the fact of the matter is, it's ultimately cheaper to outsource it and pay somebody else to do it. Once you know what programming you need done, and have a basic understanding of how apps work, it's just way cheaper and way simpler and way less stressful to pay somebody else to do that. Another, and this is a huge problem you see with SEO guys, is the PR blog network domain searching and sorting. I mean, you could spend 6 months doing that, and I think the guys have spent 6 months doing that, and never make any money from your SEO business. You're just maybe setting yourself up to make money from your SEO business later. Another example is this website design and coding. These are just things. These are commodities, and you're better off just knowing what you want, figuring out what you want and why you want it, and then paying somebody else to execute on that and focusing on the big picture. And then we have article writing, content creation, same story. And I've spent a lot of time doing that, and also just spending too much time doing really technical stuff. Configuring servers, and I don't even want to go into all of it. I don't even want to think about it now. So what I did to kind of cure myself of these habits, and I suggest for you to do it every single day, pick up the same habit because it's really worked for me in my business. As I started keeping like a log or a journal of my work every day, I plan the day before exactly what I'm going to do, block that time out, and then, I keep the journal as I do it. When I do these activities every day, I record them, right, in my notes. So at the end of the day, I go back and review everything I did. I then assign, kind of arbitrarily assign a dollar value to how much I would pay somebody else to do what I did during that time period for each activity. And then, if it's possible, and I can afford it, the next day I pay somebody else to do it. Or as soon as I can, I pay somebody else to do it. And so just in this way, you just keep on progressively focusing yourself on the big picture activities and on the money making, the things that actually make you money, and you find your value proposition, which means you find the things that you can do really well that nobody else can do. What ends up happening, and this picture isn't really relevant, but I thought that girl was really sexy, is that you wake up in the morning and all of a sudden, all this work is being done by your outsourcers and money is being made with the systems you put in place while you sleep, which is one of the most amazing feelings in the world, guys. Let me tell you. The second biggest mistake I've made in the SEO business is repeating myself. And this is kind of similar to the first one, but it's worth talking about anyway. Tell me, do you find yourself just doing the same task or activity over and over and over again? If so, then you're screwing yourself in several ways. First way is you're not growing. You're not learning new skills. You're not, getting new knowledge or understanding. You're just, it's kind of like a job, really, is what you're doing, which I know a lot of guys get into SEO and online business to avoid that, but you're doing the same thing to yourself without even realizing it. And the second way is you're not making money. Chances are these kind of repetitive activities, a lot of people, without getting all like psychological schmoozy-woozy on you, a lot of people focus on them because they're easy and mindless, and they don't make you don't have to think about the really hard stuff like actually growing your business. So my solution to this, one, like what I talked about, outsource. And the second one, this is a little bit less obvious, but I'll explain it, is anytime you have a problem, anytime you have a repetitive task, figure out a system or something you can create to solve that problem once and forever. So I'll give you guys a little personal case study from my last year or so, which was, when I created my PR domain, blog network domain finding software. So like a lot of you, probably 6 to 12 months ago, I was spending way too much time out there finding domains for my blog network. I mean, you can just spend years doing it, and it's kind of addictive, I'll be honest, and it is kind of rewarding in a way, but ultimately it's not a money-making activity. And so that's why there's several problems with it. The first problem, it's boring. The second problem, it's repetitive, but I repeat myself because anything repetitive usually becomes boring. And the third problem, like I said, it doesn't make money. So here's how I solved it. Rather than spending a few months' time finding those domains by hand from drop list and getting diminishing returns on my time and energy investment, instead of investing those months just doing the same task over and over again, I spent the same amount of time writing, planning, designing, and writing software to do all that work for me. So now that software is running 24/7, and it's finding domains that nobody else has access to because they're not from drop list. More on that later. Plus, I set up a system to outsource the spam checking and site research and buying and hosting and reconstruction and all that fun stuff. So all I have to do is nothing. I wake up, I check the domains that my software has given me and my assistants have said are spam proof and good to go and meet the criteria we look for. I give the final approval on their purchase, and then they're built and added to my blog network based on a series of instructions and systems that I set up once, and now it all happens passively without me having to do really anything. So that means instead of spending all day finding and sorting domains to try to rank for my terms, I can spend my whole day on SEO income generating activities, like keyword research, profitability projection, big picture strategy, just everything else that actually makes you money, growing my business, which is a huge win. That's how you actually get ahead in any business, not just SEO. So next time you find yourself doing the same thing over and over again, even if you don't have programming experience or whatever, just record a video of yourself doing it, explain it, write out some instructions, and hop on Elance or Odesk or whatever, and chances are you can find a good outsourcer to do the same work, just as good as you, or maybe even 80% as good as you is fine for $2 to $3 an hour, and keep repeating that process every day and every day. So that's just a philosophy: solve a problem once, and then never solve it again. Just keep growing. The third mistake I want to talk about is a scarcity mindset, with scarcity having to do with like money scarcity, financial scarcity. Here's some signs that you're dealing with a scarcity mindset, and I've been completely guilty of these. One, you see money as a finite resource. You think there's a limited supply of money in the world, when in fact that there is an unlimited supply of money. You have a limited supply of time and energy, but not money. You can, I promise you the government and the banks are going to keep on printing that stuff, all right, guys? The second sign is that you spend more time, and I've done this as well, you spend more time trying to cut your cost and do things on the cheap rather than focusing your time and energy and investing your time and energy on growing your income and growing your business, right? So you spend all your time trying to make sure that everybody else gets as small a piece of your pie as possible, rather than focusing on baking more and bigger pies over and over again. And the third sign is you view money as an end and not a means. And what I mean by that is, money is just a tool, like anything else. Can allow you to buy yourself a nicer lifestyle or whatever your goals are. And money is also a tool that you should be using and investing to make yourself more money. That's more. So like I said, I've been guilty of all of these as well. And ironically, I had this probably the worst. The scarcity mindset was the worst. The first time that I really started making big money with my business, or at least it seemed like big money to me at the time. And in fact, it took me failing with all these mistakes I've given you. And this is what I was referencing. It probably cost me $50,000 this year because I lost that contract. And after I lost that contract, that's when I realized all the things I had done wrong and, started really improving myself and improving my business. So let's give an example of this. Let's say you got 1 hour a day for your SEO, business. You got a day job, whatever. Should you spend that 1 hour, spam checking domains by hand? Or should you spend that 1 hour planning out a dozen locations to build high-end niche rent-a-cert pages to, like in real estate or for real estate lawyers, surgeons, whatever? Which one of those is going to make you money? Which one of those can you more easily outsource? The answer is pretty obvious, guys. You got to spend that time on the big picture planning and outsource the easy stuff. So always choose growth when you have an option. Always. And the fourth mistake I see a lot of SEOs making is following the crowd, and this is particularly deadly in SEO, and I'll explain why in a bit. Anytime you find yourself here, it's just one of the kind of faceless masses, and sitting there watching somebody else. That should be a warning sign to you that what you're doing isn't working. What you're doing is wrong. You need to go elsewhere. And the reason why is that failure is the norm, not success. Like we have this in the United States, they have this 1%, 99% thing. Well, guess which side of that equation you want to be on? You want to be on the 1%. That means you're not in the crowd. You're not doing what everybody else is doing. The same is true with SEO and internet marketing. So if you have the same beliefs and take the same actions as everybody else, then you're going to get the exact same results as they do. So what does that mean for the SEO business? These are just some kind of examples I pulled out of my rear end. Maybe it means getting access to links that nobody else can. Maybe it means learning your own, going out there, learning, studying, and finding whatever advantages or your own methods for ranking sites that you can, and testing them, and building your own systems. It can also mean scaling larger than your competitors. Maybe you could just, maybe instead of just building a dozen sites, you figure out systems and ways to build 1,000 sites or whatever. I mean, that's another way to build an advantage for you that nobody else is doing. Now, the reason why avoiding the crowd is especially important in SEO is because of the risk that we face with footprints and algorithmic penalties and how they can destroy our businesses overnight. I mean, basically what a footprint and an algorithm penalty is Google figures out what the crowd is doing, the SEO crowd is doing, and then they figure out how to wipe out all their sites. That's it. So how do you solve this? There's quite a few different ways too, but I'm just want to talk about the biggest one today. As a matter of fact, this is the one tool, and it's the single most important tool to your success. And it's almost never talked about with the SEO and internet marketing crowd. And from what I've seen, almost none of the other SEOs use it. Yet it's the most powerful resource in the world. Your brain, your imagination, your creativity, and your problem-solving ability. The fifth mistake I see, and my goodness gracious, so many SEOs are guilty of this, so many, is planning and acting for the short term. I mean, I know I was there too, chasing quick dollars and this and that. And if you need money, you need money. I get that. But sometimes you just got to, get a job. But, guys get into SEO and internet marketing and think they should be able to press a button and start making money next week. It doesn't work like that. So the best example I can think of is Amazon.com. Now, one of the things that Amazon.com is really famous for and has been a real key to their success, from a big picture business strategy perspective, excuse me guys, is that with their corporate planning, with their business planning, they make projections and they make plans based on a 7-year timeline. The norm for corporate America, for their competitors, is doing that on a 5-year timeline. So what that means is that they're willing to sacrifice a little bit tomorrow to make 10 times as much the day after tomorrow, or they're willing to sacrifice a little day to make 10 times as much tomorrow. And with that just fundamental philosophy, Yeah, and just an example of that is, for example, with the Kindle, their line of Kindle and probably their phones too. They actually take a loss on the Kindle, on their other hardware products. Yet they know, they take a loss on the initial sale. Yet they know that they're going to make that money back, 5 or 10 times over the course of over the course of the user's life with that device, from book sales and software sales and app sales and all that other fun stuff. And they also know that if they can put their competitors out of business by charging less, then, well, guess what? They can raise their prices later on when there is no more competition because everybody else is broke. So now you have it where Amazon.com has taken over the world because they were willing to plan and act farther into the future than their competitors and to reap the rewards, to delay gratification a little bit later. So what does that mean for SEO? Well, it means, first of all, you should be building your sites and your ranking systems and your strategies with the goal of ranking for years into the future. Years, not months, not years. You want your rankings to hold. Let's illustrate. Maybe you may build a really nice niche site or a rent-a-SERP page and are able to charge $500 a month for it. If your backlink structure is all a bunch of spam and automated backlinks, maybe you can hold those rankings for 2 months. Yet if you have a super solid offsite system and a super solid on-page SEO, maybe you can rent that site out and keep its rankings for 2 years. So now, I'm not a mathematician here, guys, but I do believe that 500 times 24 is quite a bit bigger than 500 times 2. Which amount of income would you rather have? So, just building on that further, I mean, staying away from, automated or automatic links, spun content, and kind of anything that's, too good to be true. There's a million tools and software out there, and none of them are just going to let you push a button and make money. There's always work to put in, I promise, guys. And the reality is that some of these really popular, really easy things, even if they do work today, that's just Google algorithm debate, and you're going to get slapped tomorrow. I'd rather be making money for years into the future. I don't know about you. So that means, you got to be willing to do what your competitors aren't willing to do for on-site SEO and for off-site SEO. The sixth mistake that I've made, and it's pretty common with a lot of others in the internet marketing business, is not knowing my numbers. Now, once upon a time when I was first getting started, I used to just build sites out, willy-nilly, based on whatever whim I had that day. I'd use crappy content and automated links, and maybe they'd rank for a little bit, but they wouldn't hold. And what's worse, I would just throw those sites up without any real planning or projection or understanding of how to know if they were going to be profitable or not. Even if they ranked, without projecting, even if they rank, how much money is this going to make me? Is this going to be worth my time and energy investment? Guess what? That's no way to run a business, and it wasn't a very profitable one. So, how did I solve that? The real answer is that I started approaching SEO as a legitimate business, which it is, instead of a hobby. So I adopted the mindsets that successful businesses had, and use them myself. For example, I developed my own methods for projecting site revenue, from client sites, affiliate sites, rent-a-SERP sites, sales funnel, whatever I was working on. I made sure to project upfront how much money that could be worth to me, would probably be worth to me before I invested in it. I then learned how to project all the expenses that would have from ranking, your links, your domains, hosting, paying for content, etc., and use that to, use that to project how much actual profit each site or each project would bring me. And then I use that, use that information to decide which sites to build, which ones not to, and which projects to take on and which ones to avoid. So I've realized that, optimizing my mindsets and activity for growth and scalability, and I didn't write this, but also stability, is 1,000 times more important than optimizing my business to keep cost at a minimum, which is, like I said, a scarcity mindset. So when you know your numbers and you're able to do the math, and you know that I can spend $1 today and make $5 back next week, or $1,000 a day and make $5,000 back next week, let me just tell you guys, that works. It really works in building your business. So know your numbers. So actually, as a matter of fact, if you're in the YokeBreak Mastermind, my email group, which if you look to the right, if you're not and you look to the right of this page, there's a nice shiny little button where you can put your email address up and join. I've got some training coming for you very soon within the next few days that's going to show you step by step exactly how I project profitability for a project. And I'm also going to give you the chance to access some tools where you can do the same thing for yourself or build your own version of it. It's pretty easy and it's really cool. And yeah, I wouldn't still be in business without it. So there you go. So blah, blah, blah. You're going to learn how to project, like I said, you're going to learn how to project your revenue and profits so you can focus on earning more profits. So that's all for today, guys. That's me, Kyle Duck, and I'm from YokeBreak.com signing off. See you guys again soon. Cheers, fellas. Peace.